Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new movie review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the movie The Burning Sea. Disaster film. Let's get into it. Okay, yeah, I do love a good disaster film. Hollywood is very good at it for the most part, but I'll tell you what, Norway's getting in there as well. Yeah, so I sat down, I watched The Burning Sea. Now, this is was a blind buy. I bought it because just recently, over the past 2 weeks, I have watched The Wave and I have watched The Quake. Two disaster films, both of which I have reviewed as well. And this one comes at us from the creators of both of those films. So this is like the third in the trilogy so far of these disaster flicks that are all sort of linked, made by the same people. Different cast in this one than the other two. The other two did follow the same family, so they were connected films. This is different. So this film basically it follows this dating couple. He works on an oil rig. She's in the industry as well, but she works with sort of unmanned underwater drone type things. She's in that sort of area of expertise. Basically, this is all set oil rig, right? The North Sea. The North Sea has a mass of oil rigs throughout. I have sailed through it on my way to Norway. I have seen it, and it's quite a spectacle when you're in the middle of the ocean and you've just got oil rig, oil rig. As far as the eye can see, you can just see oil rigs all the way around in all directions. And yeah, like I said, it's quite a sight to behold. And this film is based around that. The North Sea is being plundered of its oil. Norway are big at this. And in this film, what's happened is they've created pockets under the seabed, pockets that are empty. You know, we've taken out the oils and extracted everything, and you're just left with voids. And much like potholes that appear here, you get undersea versions of that, and this occurs basically a big sort of landslips where the land is filling in these holes, dropping the ocean beds dropping, and it's pulling some of these oil rigs down, this sort of thing, and oil's just leaking everywhere, you know, crude oil, you know, 100,000 square miles essentially of it, or kilometres of it, and this sort of thing. This is where the title The Burning Sea comes from, when this stuff catches fire. Now, I'll keep it at that with the story, because it's a story of survival. It's a story of, you know, it's really good. I mean, I don't know what to say. These films have blown me away. They feel different. They feel different. They're done on a smaller budget. Of course they are. They're done on a smaller budget than your Hollywood blockbusters. But this film certainly has a larger budget feel to it than what the Wake and the Quake did. Now, the Wake was made on, I think it was $6 million. The Quake followed up on about 15. I'm not sure what the budget was of this one. I haven't done no homework in that respect, but it will be bigger. It certainly feels bigger. It's fantastically shot. There's some beautiful scenery in it. You know, when they're up in the helicopters, they're in the helicopters. When they're on these oil rigs and inside them, you feel like you're inside these oil rigs. It doesn't feel like you've got green screen effects or anything like that. It feels like they are in the place they're meant to be, and that just is fabulous. The camera work is spot on. The effects, you know, I'm watching the effects, the underwater effects, and I'm asking, is this really underwater or is this CGI? I cannot tell if it's CGI. It looks real. It looks real. Yeah, with these drone things under the water, so I don't know. I'm not, you know, and so that's good. That's good in itself. Now, I was asking myself. I was thinking, these films feel different. They feel more different than what your Hollywood standard blockbuster fare does. And yeah, like I said, I know they're on a smaller budget, right? But why is that? these, and I hit on it. I hit on it with just before going into this third one. These films tell a more of a personal story, and they're believable to a degree. You know, The Wave was about just this single wave that worked its way through the fjords because of a landslip, and it has happened before in the past. The Quake was an earthquake that hit Oslo, and it had happened before in the past, and it's the aftermath of it in that, and the survival story. And this film again tells a survival story. So you have got this big spectacle of an event going on, but it feels like you're seeing it from this perspective. It feels like you know, it affects this small group of people, and it's their story of survival throughout, and that's what makes these so wonderful. That you know, you're spending time with these characters and you're getting to know these characters and you care about these characters. Okay, take for example something like San Andreas. Yeah, you've got Dwayne Johnson in it. So, and this is the difference in Hollywood. You watch these big spectacle disaster films like San Andreas, and I'm thinking, okay, well, there's Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, in amongst a you know, a massive earthquake and tidal waves and all this sort of rubbish, right? So there's this sense of unreality to it in that sense, because you know you're watching Dwayne Johnson. Now, the good thing about these films is you don't know the actors, because I don't know Norwegian actors or anything. I don't know if these actors are big in Norway or what. So from my perspective, I'm watching these films and it feels like I'm watching real people. The acting is that good. I feel like I'm watching real people. Their emotions are real. It's raw, and what they're going through. I feel what they're going through. But you're watching them, and you don't look at them as though this is an actor doing this, because you haven't got a clue who they are. And it's done so well. It really is. And this film is no exception. Now, the basis of this film is factual in a sense, in that yes, you could see this sort of thing happening, as opposed to you know, your big 2012s and San Andreas sort of nonsense. This is something that feels like it could happen. It's completely different to something like the Mark Wahlberg one, where he's on board the, you know, that true story where he's on the oil rig. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Because there is that sense of, you know, mass disaster to it, and with all these oil rigs going down, but it feels like you're there. It feels like you know, you're watching these people really live through this event, and that's what makes these films really special. And this one is no different. I've been blown away. You know, 3 weeks of watching these films, and they're just so good. They really are, and I would highly recommend watching this film. As I would say, out of the three of them, this one runs for 105 minutes. It's probably the slowest paced of the three, I would say, but that's not to detract from it. I'm not saying that as a detraction, because it might be my favourite of the three. I just think there's more time spent with the characters and getting to know them, and while these events are occurring. And yeah, it's just, the other two are great films, but in comparison to this one, this feels crisper, sharper, almost like the creators of it have refined their skill. It really does. But that's no knock on the other two. I'm not saying that as a negative to the other two. It just feels like here, you know, they've got that budget to play with, and they play with it really well. The soundtrack is fantastic. The directing is fantastic. The acting is fantastic. Now you do have the option of watching it dubbed in English or in its original Norwegian. I chose the original Norwegian to watch it in, with subtitles. I've got no issue with subtitles films or reading subtitles. It detracts me more when I see people's mouths moving and it doesn't exactly match what's being said. So I wanted to watch it as it was made. But yeah, just fantastic. Really, really impressed. Very, very good film. The best disaster movie of the year. Certainly better than Moonfall. Anyway, this is AJ. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you all on the next one. hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this film. I know that it's out very soon, a couple of weeks for sale here in the UK. This was an imported version on 4K. But let me know if you plan on picking it up, if you plan on watching it. It's not a cheap disaster film. It's not one of those cheap ones. Very much worth watching. AJ, see you next time. Take care. Goodbye.